It's not very often I will label a video game as one of the greatest video games of all time. In order for video games to achieve that status, the game has to be flawless and feature a ton of exciting gameplay to a point where that game in particular will stand to the test of time. But that of course will always be subjective depending on how you view video games and if they should be ranked as the GOAT. Crash Bandicoot has always been my comfort zone for casual gaming, and even just listening to the OST on its own while completing everyday tasks. And while not all Crash Bandicoot games are perfect as demonstrated time after time, they can provide some replay value and fun memories to last a lifetime. So on that note, how is it that for a Crash Bandicoot game highly focused on 3D platforming would release, in my opinion, a banger of a video game in Crash Team Racing? A kart racing video game that is supposedly a spin-off title? I have no idea, but what I do know is that Naughty Dog already developed 3 Crash games. Their contract with Universal Interactive Studios was about to expire, and Naughty Dog had just enough time to create one more Crash game, only this time as a kart racer. And while the people behind CTR probably thought to themselves that this would be just a simple racing game, I like to think from my perspective what they didn't realize until the game's release was the fact that Naughty Dog developed quite possibly the best racing video game of all time. Eat your heart out, Mario Kart. But in order to understand why that's the case, let's dive into some good old Crash Team Racing. The game opens with a narrator talking to the player, hyping them up for the game, and I always get excited every time I hear his voice.
Fasten your seatbelts for another Naughty Dog creation.
Even hearing him say Naughty Dog also sends chills, literal chills. We then witness Crash Bandicoot holding the trophy while staring deep within your soul, and believe it or not, Crash Team Racing does have a plot to tell. The story begins with a racing tournament going on until a spaceship arrives near Earth, and this is where we see Nitrous Oxide, who claims to be the fastest racer in the galaxy. And his face looks like a spoon. Oxide wants to challenge whoever is the fastest racer on Earth. If Earth wins, then Oxide will leave the planet alone. But if Oxide wins...
If I win, I'll turn your entire globe into a concrete parking lot and make you my slave.
Oh no, don't turn our planet into a parking lot. That's more life-threatening than a chef putting cream in spaghetti carbonara. And so, the challenge has been accepted, and the story continues on over in adventure mode. You select which characters to play as, go through races to win trophies, until you have earned the right to face Oxide in an epic showdown. I really do like the story here, it's straight to the point, and you have a purpose for wanting to finish the story, and that is to put simply, be the best. But back to the character selection in adventure mode. You can choose to play as either Crash, Cortex, Coco, Engine, Tiny Tiger, Dingodile, Polar Bear, and Puma. Each character will have their own stats, so while some races may have good turning ability and not so great speed, others may have great speed but not good turning. Crash and Cortex are probably a good option to start off with since they are the all-rounders. For this playthrough, I'm selecting Cortex because his face scares me and I'm not sure what would happen if I didn't. And after naming my profile Fart, we can now begin by looking at the Uka Uka animation for when he talks to the player to give out some advice on how to play the game. It's a bit strange to look at and it hasn't aged well. Then again, for a 1999 video game, I can try to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it does look awkward to see this animation, just as much as Crash Nitro Kart as well back over in 2003. In adventure mode, you have a small hub area to drive around. You can select racetracks and other game modes, which will be explained later on in this video. And one of the reasons why I love exploring the hub world is every time you enter a different area, the beat and instrument of the song that plays will change. It's a small detail, but a detail that really makes a huge impact on the overall experience. Okay, enough messing around, let's get into the gameplay. The graphics look great for its time, bright, colourful, very detailed, and nicely presentable. I believe Naughty Dog has always been the standout gaming developers when it comes to the graphical look in their games, and CTR is no exception. Even if Crash does stare into my soul. You start off in a race and right from the get-go you will immediately notice just how tight the controls are. I've mentioned countless times on how control handling in a racing game has to be on point for some sick turns and dodging obstacles. And if the controls are not good, then what you'll get is an unpleasant experience. Well, the way you control your kart in CTR is great. I feel that with every turn and every drift, I have full range of control with my kart. And I know that if I bumped into the wall and a fellow competitor, I know for a fact that it was my dumb fault and not the controls. With control handling, you can also boost when you are drifting. When the exhaust pipe starts to smoke up, that is the perfect time to start boosting. Or you can also look at the boost meter. I don't fucking know, I don't judge the way you play games. And by pulling it off 3 times in a row, you'll gain more speed, which is crucial for later races in adventure mode. And depending on how many times you do it over and over, you can obtain even more speed than before, meaning that you'll be flying through the track with 0 issues whatsoever. It also becomes satisfying when you end up in last place and boosting your way into first place at the very end. Also, I'm not sure how Cortex managed to fit in that gap since his head is massive. Well, I suppose he got himself ahead of the competition. And on that note, most tracks will offer shortcuts to execute. By successfully performing a shortcut, it can help you get one step closer into the lead. Some will be pretty obvious, but others can take time to make it to the other side. It's all about practice at the end of the day. And there can also be shortcuts you might have never heard of before, and you feel that sense of accomplishment when doing it. And combine the shortcuts with the speed and the controls, you get what is an amazing experience. Oh, for fuck's sake. CTR also offers weapons to use. You get a weapon by driving over the boxes. The weapons can help attack the competition out in front or defend your position. You have rockets, potions, TNTs, and many more. You can also upgrade your weapons as well by collecting 10 Wumpa fruits, allowing your weapon to have an increase in power or having multiple weapons to use. It's really handy to have them on standby, and by using those weapons, it can change the outcome. And as for the racetracks themselves, I really love the design of them, from the sharp turns to drift around, to the boost pads to gain a lot of speed, and the giant polar bear frozen in ice. At least I won't have any more nightmares of the bear chasing me. As you go through track after track, you'll notice some very familiar set pieces from past Crash Bandicoot games, like in the Sewer Speedway from the sewer levels, and Dingo Canyon from the motorcycle levels. No matter which racetrack you come across, you can always notice the similarities with each track, taking inspiration from the original trilogy. As you collect 4 trophies, you'll be introduced to the boss races. The bosses you'll be facing are Ripperoo, Papu Papu, Komodo Joe, Pinstripe, and defeating all 4 of them will see you clashing against Oxide. You face these bosses in a one-on-one race, and at first it seems to go alright, but then TNTs, nitro crates, and potions will be dropped and you have to do your best to avoid them while winning the race. It might seem unfair at first, but I actually welcome the challenge. It becomes less predictable, and instead of mowing through the same track you've already raced in, you have another layer of challenge, and it's a really good idea in my opinion. But as far as Oxide's boss race is concerned,
You bastard!
yeah, the dickhead gets an early head start. Meanwhile, he throws everything he has at you just so that you don't get in the lead. It does become a lot more difficult when the track becomes narrow, and it'll be even more tough to maneuver. But hey, at least I get to perform this shortcut. Yeah, eat my dust, Pickle Oxide. And when you do defeat Oxide, the game doesn't really come to an end. You have to go back and obtain the relics and CTR tokens, and then you'll be able to race Oxide one more time. What are CTR tokens, you may ask, despite you probably already know what it is and the fact that this game is over 25 years old as of this recording? Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. As you go through 3 laps, you have to collect the letters C, T, and R, and once you have collected all 3, then you have to try to win the race. And as for the relics, it's pretty much the same as Crash 3, except you're racing against time to break the time boxes and get that platinum relic. And by the way, the relics work extremely well in Crash Team Racing. There's also crystal challenges. The way to beat it is to collect all the power crystals before the timer runs out. There's 1 crystal challenge in every hub area, and by completing all of them, will reward you with a purple gem. Yep, even the gems are here too. You can earn the other gems by competing in Gem Cups. You race in 4 racetracks per session, and whoever gets the most points at the end of it all wins the overall cup. By winning the gems, you also unlock new characters to play as in arcade mode, including the bosses from earlier. There's also 2 additional racetracks to unlock as well. Overall, there's a lot of replay value after defeating Oxide, and while you technically don't have to fully 100% Adventure Mode, but it does give you some nice rewards when doing so. Other than Adventure Mode, you have time trials to get the fastest time possible in each track. If you successfully complete the time trials, you unlock End Trophy. And then you have Battle Mode, which is pretty much multiplayer in a fight to blast your opponent to get the most points. Now, as much positives I've mentioned throughout the video have been features I love, but my favorite highlight in CTR is the soundtrack. Each beat, each instrument, and each tone fits very well in every racetrack. This is one of the few games that I'll be happy to listen to the OST while I'm busy doing some housework or writing some scripts. It's such a pleasure to the eardrum, and it's difficult to decide on which music piece is my all-time favourite. That might just give me an idea for a future video. Crash Team Racing to me is one of the best video games out there. If I really had to take a deep dive into CTR and find at least one thing wrong with the game, it's probably the fact that Nitrous Oxide is not a playable character, which makes sense due to his hovercraft being too much to handle for the PlayStation 1's hardware. But that's not an issue for me nowadays. Replaying this game, I still get that good old nostalgia feeling as I boot the game up, choose a race, and begin to play. The gameplay is great, the soundtrack is great, the racetrack design is great, pretty much everything about CTR screams great to me. If you haven't played the PlayStation 1 version of Crash Team Racing, then you are missing out. Although you can definitely recapture the essence of CTR through Nitro Field if you don't have the PlayStation 1 edition. It's basically the same game except for better graphics and the added addition of Crash Nitro Kart. But in order to look ahead towards the future, we first have to acknowledge and appreciate the past. And Crash Team Racing for the PlayStation 1 should get all the awards and credit that it deserves. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. I thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My name is Justin Hurst, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.